Hello indie game fan, I have more great games to look forward to with a couple of bigger titles and sequels of interest, beginning with B.I.O.T.A Swarm, a bullet heaven platformer which has to be inspired by Vampire Survivors, but of course takes things into the 2D plane. This is adjacent to the retro action platformer B.I.O.T.A which has a similar look, where it's nice to see someone try something different with the concept. I have to give a very special mention to Phantom Fury, starring the same character as the boomer shooter Iron Fury, but being made by another developer, where it's a very retro entry as well. It mixes the all-action first-person shooter combat with a road movie adventure, so you're not simply stuck in a single facility, but rather has more cinematic elements, looking very ambitious. This video is brought to you by Insomnia, Theatre in the Head, a gorgeous looking point-and-click adventure game that looks awesome, telling a story that some of us may be all too familiar with in tossing and turning and unable to fall asleep until the wee hours of the morning. We get a glimpse into the mind of our protagonist, who reflects on her inner self in order to find the source of this anxiety, shown through the theatre of the mind with all sorts of quirky characters. The 2D hand-drawn art is a highlight, where I love the attention to detail and especially the elf character, where it does come to us from developer Perfect Day Studio, makers of the well-received but Chinese language only adventure game A Perfect Day, where the team wants to share some of the everyday experiences of the ordinary people in society through their games. The demo of this is available right now on Steam, so click the link below and be sure to drop them a wishlist if interested. There have been a number of management games that has you raising a young child, with Volcano Princess looking to be the next entry in the space, where raising your daughter in a world of increasing conflict between humans and demons. You choose her activities and guide her on her path, with RPG elements, stats and combat, as well as having great art.
This land is not for the weak. Most of us wouldn't last a day. But we know you're different. Even the Raven could see that. That's why it entrusted you to wield its power, to be its weapon, to meet the darkness and wound it, so that the cause does not die when you do.
Ravenbound is from developer Systemic Reaction, who recently confirmed that their current project, the dinosaur co-op first-person shooter Second Extinction, will be releasing out of early access, and at the same time showed off this trailer for Ravenbound. This is an open-world 3D action roguelite that looks impressive, set in a fantasy world filled with monsters. It's not quite Elden Ring, but I'm still very interested to see how much of a roguelite this game will be.
If you let it wield you.
I did poke at medieval tavern simulators 2 videos ago, but I do have to give a special mention to Innkeep, since rather than a tycoon game, has you managing the establishment as a single character, being similar to games like Graveyard Keeper, but with a darker theme. As is typical in medieval times, things are brutal and violent, we can even rob your guests and conduct occult rituals, looking very intriguing. Sucker for Love Date to Die is a sequel to Sucker for Love First Date, where it appears to be the same type of game in that they are both dating sims, where the kicker in these games is that you had to choose between eldritch horrors, with the sequel introducing an entirely new cast. Both of these have used the 90s anime aesthetic in their trailers, with this awesome song, where if the first game is anything to go by, should turn out great. Let's kick off the top 3 with Combustion. Not the most memorable title, but it does look awesome, being a type of game that kind of crosses genre boundaries, which made it of interest. You will notice the PSX era graphics, but it's not all low fidelity, where lighting plays an important role here, and you play as a rookie cop chasing after a serial killer. Actions include vehicle sections, side-scrolling combat, and detective game-style police work, looking very ambitious.
We rebels who defied heaven with arms fell headlong from ethereal skies, hurled, vanquished into a dim abyssal gulf. We forsaken, forever condemned to taste burdened air and churning ash, racked for eternity with obdurate pride and steadfast hate.
Solium Infernum is the next title from the developer of Armello, which released in 2015. It was impressive how that game has managed to sustain them until this point in time, where they continue to support it with DLC. While we only have a cinematic trailer, this game looks similar in that it is a hex-based grand strategy title, but this time set in hell, where you plot to take over the Infernal Throne with some sick art as well.
Strongholds deep, we now rage against one another, each fixing our plans upon the throne. Here, at last, I shall be free. To reign is worth ambition, though in this place of darkness made visible, better to rule in hell than serve in heaven.
I'm so excited to share Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, the sequel to Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, an action-adventure game from 2021 that I enjoyed, where you once again embody the rebellious Turnip Boy, taking things to the extreme. As compared to the more obvious Zelda influence in the first game, this seems to play more like a twin-stick shooter, where the tone and writing of the original was great, and I hope this will be as well. But if you want to know more, watch this video on the best games of 2021.